morning, YouTube. We're going to do a wrap-up video for yesterday after some reflection and thinking about everything. Overall, the experience was great, with the exception of the hiccups on trying to find charging stations based on the speed I was going and monsoon rains, craziness, and accidents and everything else. The experience is great. One of the biggest things one of the biggest takeaways that I want to give you guys that see all these ridiculous, I'm thinking, ICE campaign people throwing shade is always having to wait on a charger. One thing that I never had to do on that whole first day is wait for a charger. Everywhere I went, there was bays available. Now, were they degraded bays because there was more than one car? Yes, some charging speeds were a little bit slower, but I was charging. And I was charging faster than a level 2 charger, so we're still moving ahead semi-quickly. Would it be nice just to be the only person on the bay and not share the juice? Of course it would. But hey, that's part of the whole driving Tesla experience. That's one thing, if you guys are new to the Tesla world, you gotta be mindful of when you pull up to a charger, man. So, like, 4 chargers are connected to one. I forgot what the hell you call that thing. But they all pull from the same energy source, basically. So, if someone's one of 4 on the first set, go to the next set of 4 and park there, and both of you guys will get the full juice from the power source. Now, if there's only one set of 4 and the next person pulls in, they're taking half of your power. So you got to be mindful of that, that your charging speeds will degrade by 50%. So, and then by 25% for the next car that jumps into that mess. So just keep that in mind. So it might be a 250 watt charger, but you might only be charging at 125 watts because you're sharing. So definitely keep that in mind when you're getting to your charging experience. But yeah, there was not one time I've had to wait. I think the last time I made this trip, I almost had to wait in Atlanta. And while I was in Atlanta, I saw they were putting in brand new chargers. And I think they're level 4 chargers. So that's going to be interesting because they are routing me to that spot today. We'll take a look at that in Atlanta. They got a lot of experiences in Atlanta, though. While your car is getting charged, they'll detail your car if they're still there. That was kind of cool. So you could like pay to get your car detailed. But that was the only place I really waited for anything. I was nervous to take this trip this time since Tesla has opened it up to GM and Ford. But everywhere I've gone so far, I haven't even seen GM and Fords. I haven't seen Rivians. I haven't seen any other car at the supercharger. Maybe as we get into bigger cities, we're gonna see more of that. That was a lie. So yesterday, at the end of my trip, there was a Chevy Volt at the hub over in Chesterfield. So there was one vehicle that wasn't a Tesla charging at a supercharger. But the experience, it was great. Didn't have to wait for charging. So if you're thinking about buying a Tesla, do not worry about waiting on a charger for the most part. And let's be honest, it's all based on everybody's situation. When I'm not traveling, I got a level 2 right at the house, and I just plug into the house. And the last time I used a supercharger before this trip was last February, I think. I went on my last snowboarding trip up in Breckenridge, and I had to juice up for 5 minutes. And I hadn't used the charger since then. because I just charge at the house. Now, your situation might be like when we had the deep freeze last year, and I think, was it Chicago? There was lines and lines and people's EVs were dying. I think these people are the ones that are unfortunate. I think these are the people that like buy EVs but live in apartments. And apartments don't have level 2 chargers, so now you don't have the infrastructure and you're trying to go to the couple superchargers that are available in your big ass city. You know what I mean? So that's where you got to do your research. You got to know how you live and what you're doing. Townhomes might run into that issue too. Townhomes and apartments and condos. So if you guys live in that type of environment, have a plan. Don't make it supercharger all the time, because superchargers eventually get pretty rough on your battery too. It's not fully proven, but it can't be healthy to be rapidly charging all the time. So keep that in mind. Left lane is closing in a mile. Hold on, I'm gonna get off autopilot real quick and pass this car. Or pass this truck. I hate going in the semis, man. So keep those things in mind when you're purchasing an EV. If you live in an apartment, know a friend that has a level 2 charger. See if you're close enough that you can plug into a 120, and if your daily commute is 20 miles or less, you could probably live off of your 120 charger. I know my neighbor, he lives off his 120 charger for the most part. He says if he goes on a big trip, that's when he'll hit a supercharger before he makes that trip. So literally my next door neighbor, he plugs right into a 120. I'm like, and I probably could have got away with that too, but I don't know. First world problems, I was like, I want a level 2 charger in my house. So I got a level 2 charger. Okay, here's the next thing too. Like, if you guys are gonna go EV, decide if you need a permanent level 2 charger. I think if I did it again, I would probably just get the portable level 2 charger and kind of give it a permanent mount in the garage with a NEMA outlet, because at the end of the day, that's all the fast charging you need in a city environment. You really don't need too much more than that. So that was my reflection on the first day. I did not wait on bays. I had to deal with the rain. The rain was crazy, guys, especially if you ain't got good tires, which mine are. They're okay. I just had a Tesla guy come out to do another maintenance thing, and he was like, yeah, your tires are still good for like 20,000 more miles. And I'm like, okay, cool. But dangerous as hell, man. I saw 5 accidents. It was crazy. People just spun out. They were Mustangs, they were Chargers. And then a trailer lost control and the trailer flipped over. Luckily, no one was in the car for that one. But yeah, everybody was in the ditches, man. It acted like it was the darn first day of black ice, but it was all hydroplaning off of water because of these crazy rainstorms. That's kind of my... Ooh, there's a deer. There's some deers in this house. Anyway, that's all I got for now. I will see you at the next stop in 42 minutes. Once again, we're stopping in Kudawa, Kentucky. I hope I pronounced that right. I don't know. Butcher me in the comments. Later.